Shalom. I'm going to give all honor, all praise, and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rachak, Wadash. Double honors to the elder apostles and bishops of the great millstone that rule well. And as always, peace, blessings, and salutations to the hopeful elect tabernacle of David, scattered abroad across the four winds of the earth. And I just wanted to do a response lesson in regards to the topic that the elder Manat Zakba was going into on his live. And he was addressing a comment on the elder brother Amawanga Bar's page, where a sister left, a comment, asking, was she wicked for, being the wife of a man who happened to be Muslim. She explained that they were both Muslim, when they met each other, and the Lord had her, find a light, so to speak. She heard the truth and was converted. She became a believer, but her husband is still stuck in Islam, right? So she asked in the comment section, does that make me, wicked? Because the scriptures do say a wicked woman is given a portion to a wicked man, right? But just to give that sister, words of comfort, I wanted to do a follow-up, of course, and I left a comment, and this is basically what I said, and this lesson will be centered around the comment that I left on the brother's page. And I responded to it. Matter of fact, what I'll do is I'll play the clip where he actually reads the comment and addresses it, and then I'm gonna pause it, and then I'm gonna just read my initial response to it on the comment section, and then get the scriptural evidence, because everything that we do, anything that we say, is to be backed by the scriptures. So I'm gonna just play it real quick, and then we'll get into it.
You'll see it come up in post-production, right? So this is from Princess Warrior 5430. She said, Shalom, that's the part that scares me, because when I met my husband, we both were Muslims. Now I'm in the truth and following the apostles and men of GMS. I do my best to be in order with him, even with him still being Muslim. For the last 4 years for the last 4 years of coming into the truth, he will listen to the lessons but can't let Islam go. So am I a wicked woman given to a wicked man? I know the verse that if he is pleased with you, but the wicked woman part scares me because he is not in the truth. Please help if you can clarify it for me if possible. So,
she's concerned, and I'm pretty sure other sisters, if they do have husbands and he's not in the truth, you might have the same concerns. Timothy's mother, for an example, right? And that's what I, put in this comment. I said about the sister that asked if she was wicked for being with a Muslim brother. Timothy's mother wasn't a wicked woman, though her husband was a Greek culturally. Now we know that Timothy's father wasn't an actual heathen. He was an Israelite, but because he grew up in the Greek culture, following after Greek customs, that was the way that he only knew and understood. Timothy's mother grew up, in the Israelite culture, but the scriptures never go in detail into that relationship, and rightfully so, because it's not for man to understand or to know the ins and out of the marriage between a man and a woman. That's between, that man, that woman, and the Most High. And even going back to the law, the woman, she's bound by her husband as long as he lives. So as long as that man is alive, you're bound to that man. And those of you sisters that are in the know, you understand that. Whatsoever the Most High put together, let no man put asunder. So if you wasn't in the truth when you met your husband, neither one of y'all was in the truth, then that's just your situation, that's your circumstance. All right, and the scriptures say nothing is impossible with the Most High. So I said, if she's of the elect, referring to the sister, he will eventually be converted and healed, or the Lord can ball him and she end up like a Abigail. But I used the first example dealing with Timothy's mother, because let's go to the scriptures. We'll go to was it Acts 16? This is Acts 16 in verse 1. And it says, then came he to Derbe and Lystra, and behold, a certain disciple was there named Timotheus, the son of a certain woman, which was a Jewess, which means she came up in the custom of the Jews. She knew she was an Israelite. It says, and believed, so that means that she also was baptized and converted. She was of a family that believed. Her mother, which was Lois, she was the one that brought her up in the faith. So she came up a believer. It says, but his father was a Greek. Now we don't know the ins and outs of how that came to be, where she was paired up with an Israelite that, grew up Greek. All right, but we just know that he had to have been an Israelite, because women, they're not permitted. It's prohibited for an Israelite woman to marry of another nation. She's supposed to marry within the tribes of her nation, and that's actually in our law. Like, for example, when you go into the law on the inheritance, let's go to, I believe it's in Numbers. Let me see, it might be Numbers 30. Let me search it up. Here it is. This is Numbers 36. Numbers 36 and verse 5, it says, and Moses commanded the children of Israel according to the word of the Lord, saying, the tribe of the sons of Joseph have said, well, this is the thing which the Lord hath commanded concerning the daughters of Zelophehad, saying, let them marry to whom they think best. Only to the family of the tribe of their father shall they marry. So shall not the inheritance of the children of Israel remove from tribe to tribe. For every one of the children of Israel shall keep himself to the inheritance of the tribe of his fathers. And that's dealing with if a man, if he has nothing but daughters and don't have any sons to actually pass down the inheritance to, then when an inheritance passes down to the daughter, since that was the only child that he had was a daughter, she would only have to marry within her tribe of her father, so that the inheritance doesn't move from one tribe to the next tribe. All right. So this was in our law. So let's go from there and let's go to Exodus. So as long as you married within the nation, there's nothing wrong with that. And you married to a devil, or a heathen, then you would definitely need to be concerned. Where is it at? No, it's not in here. Yeah, I'm trying to find the law in Exodus where basically we're not supposed to marry, the people of the other nations. Now, the one in Deuteronomy, I'm trying to avoid using that one because that's specifically talking about the Canaanites. We're not to have any dealings with them at all. So we definitely wasn't supposed to marry in with them. But there's a particular law where, our women are not supposed to marry, the sons of the other nations. Matter of fact, this is what I'll do. I'll go to the one in Deuteronomy. I'm going to just cross-reference it. So it is Exodus 34. Hold up. So let's go to back to Exodus 34. I'll be having trouble seeing on this phone, even though the light on the screen be bright, but I still can't even catch everything. Exodus 34. And I'll start at 14. It says, "For thou shalt worship no other God, for the Lord, whose name is jealous, is a jealous power. Lest thou make a covenant with the inhabitants of the land, and they go a-whoring after their gods, and do sacrifice unto their gods, and one call thee, and thou eat of his sacrifice. And thou take of their daughters unto thy sons, and their daughters go a-whoring after their gods, and make thy sons go a-whoring after their gods." All right. So, we're not to, give our sons over, to their daughters to marry them, because this is what can happen. So the same goes for even the weaker vessel. She get with a man of another nation, she's obviously going to be up under his authority. She's going to have to serve whatever God that he serves. So in the case of Eunice, which was the mother of Timothy, she would have been basically transgressing the law if Timothy's father was an actual heathen. So clearly, Timothy's father, he was an Israelite, but Greek was his culture. He was in a Greek state of mind. He ate a Greek diet. He probably didn't wear a beard on his face. He was definitely uncircumcised, which is why Timothy wasn't circumcised. And the reason why I'm going into this, because this didn't make Timothy's mother wicked. All right, she still was a believer at the end of the day. And whether Timothy's father converted or not, if she continued in the faith, she was going to be saved. All right. But now Paul, he even addressed, these type of circumstances. Let's go to 1 Corinthians 7. This is 1 Corinthians 7, and I'll start at 10. It says, "And unto the married I command, yet not I, but the Lord, let not the wife depart from her husband. But and if she depart, let her remain unmarried." So let's say, y'all have differences, y'all not seeing eye to eye. The Lord did say that, households, enemies was going to be they of your own household. He was going to set man at variance. So you're going to have, these type of circumstances when you believe one thing and your significant other, your spouse, believe a whole nother thing. But you still have to remain humble and respectful because he is your head. So even if he's not in the truth and he's not a believer, you still gotta maintain that that order of submission and humility, even if you disagree. All right, it doesn't give you the green light to be disrespectful, to turn into a feminist because you have a difference of opinion or belief. All right, it says let not the wife depart from her husband, but and if she depart, let her remain unmarried. So if he say, I don't know how this is going to work out, we need some time away from each other, then hey, but if y'all do agree to separate for a period of time, it does not give you permission at all to go and look for another man. All right, because this type of thing in which the brother was going into it in this video, how certain wicked women, they would be separated from their husbands from a particular camp, and they'll use it as their excuse to go and dip off and try to get with another brother, probably from a whole nother congregation, a whole nother group, which is wickedness. And the brother was spot on in his lesson, as well as the elder Amawanga Bar and the apostle Recha. We ain't tolerating that. Don't come over here. If you was with a man, then you need to either remain unmarried or reconcile to that man. But you, at the end of the day, you chose up. You gave consent. All right. So going back, it says, but and if she depart, let her remain unmarried or be reconciled to her husband. Right. And let not the husband put away his wife. Because if he does that, he can cause that woman to commit adultery. And in the IUIC, from different recollections and testimonies, this is what they do. If your woman ain't in the truth, they make you put her away. And that's off. Or if that sister has an unbelieving husband, like in the case of that sister that has a Muslim husband, if she got down with the IUIC, they would make her get rid of him, and they would probably put her with another brother in their school, which would be wicked. Because now you're marrying a woman that's put away from her husband. It says, but to the rest speak I, not the Lord. If any brother have a wife that believeth not, and she be pleased to dwell with him, let him not put her away. So, brothers, they're under that same command. If you got a woman and she's not really a believer, she still might be Christian or whatever she's into, or y'all was together before y'all came into the truth, but you found the light, you heard the gospel being preached, you started watching the videos and you became a firm believer, but she is not really seeing it. And, she's not walking forward with you, but she still wants to be with you. There's nothing you could do about that. All right. Now, if she happens to her heart starts to wax cold or whatever happens, the scriptures say, let the he that pleaseth the Lord shall escape from her. Roughly paraphrasing Ecclesiastes 7 and 26. So the Lord will find a way for you to flee. All right. But if she's wanting to deal with you, you got to stick with her. All right. It says, and the woman which have a husband that believeth not, and this is in that woman's case, the sister that made that comment. So he's still believing that Islam stuff. He's still stuck under that stronghold of Islam, right? And if he be pleased to dwell with her, let her not leave him. So she still can't leave him. For the unbelieving husband is sanctified by the wife. And who knows that in due time, especially if you of the elect, if you a sister that firmly believe, you one of the elect ladies in Israel, eventually the Lord will make him see the light. He will be converted and healed. You know, that stronghold would be broken, and he'd be able to see the light and convert and be healed. All right, and that would him seeing her belief, her faith, her conduct can possibly change his mind. But you know, people draw parallels between what we believe in Islam, because Islam, they follow the Quran, which really a lot of it goes back to the customs in the Bible, which is why they recite the Bible. You know, women to be modest and to cover up and be veiled up and whatnot. You know, because they get their overall religion, you know, from the scriptures. We know that the Catholic Church is what came up with Islam, just so that they can stake a claim to the land of Jerusalem. All right, because the Arabs at that point in time, you know, they were dominating, and they wanted the Holy Land. All right, so obviously, you know, if this sister is really truly a woman of the Lord, either this would happen where he would be sanctified by this particular sister and he would eventually start to believe, or another scenario, and I'll get to that next. It says, elsewhere, your children unclean, but now are they holy? And let me get let me read it in the NLT. Yeah, 1 Corinthians 7 and 13, it says, and if a Christian woman or an Israelite woman has a husband who is not a believer, and he is willing to continue living with her, she must not leave him. For the Israelite wife brings holiness to her marriage, meaning, you know, she's still sticking to the script. All right, she still knows her role. All right, she's still being modest. All right, her adornment is not just in her outward apparel, but in her works and in her faith. It says, you know, she's not stepping out, you know, being wanton. She's being disciplined. It says, and the Christian husband or the Israelite husband brings holiness to his marriage. Otherwise, your children would not be holy, but now they are holy. All right. It says, but if the husband or wife who isn't a believer insists on leaving, let them go. So if at one point, if it gets to the point where he's having a hard time and he wants to just, you know, bounce, let him go. It says, in such cases, the Israelite husband or wife is no longer bound to the other, for the Most High has called you to live in peace. Don't you wives realize that your husbands might be saved because of you? And don't you husbands realize that your wives might be saved because of you? All right. And that's a possibility. And that's why, you know, you pray to the Lord on it. That sister that made that comment, pray, send the prayers up. Ask the Lord, you know, to you know, give you the insight, you know, that you need, you know, to comfort you, you know, and whatever the case may be. Pray for your husband. Pray that, you know, he opens his eye, the Lord opens his eyes, and whatever else needs to be done, you know, and the Lord eventually will show. He'll either answer your prayer or maybe something else the Lord might have in store. All right, because at the end of the day, everything is of the Lord's will. His will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Okay. It says, each of you should continue to live in whatever situation the Lord has placed you and remain as you were when the Most High first called you. So when you first came into the knowledge of the truth, and you believed, and you acted accordingly, your actions and your behavior was in accordance with the principles and in the morals that you learn in the truth. You stay with it. All right. Remain, faithful, steadfast. You continue in that. Continue to do your part. It says, "This is my rule for all the churches." So, this could be the circumstance for this sister. And if you're watching, this could be your circumstance where the Lord can, in the last minute, convert him. Take that stronghold, break that stronghold, from off of his mental, and open his eyes, man. Because right now he's still blind. He's still walking in accordance, to that particular way. But if that doesn't occur, I mentioned how the Lord can ball dude, and she could become like an Abigail, because if you know the story about King David and Abigail, we know that Abigail was married to Nabal at first. He was a wealthy man. He had cattle, and there was a point in time when King David was showing kindness towards him, and this dude literally was being an asshole to King David. Let me try to go to that account. Here's first Samuel 20:25. Yeah, I'll just read this. This is in the NLT, by the way. 1 Samuel 25:9. It says, David's young men gave this message to Nabal in David's name, and they waited for a reply. Basically, they were asking, if he can share some of his provision, because the dude, he was wealthy. He had enough to, make sure that they were straight. And he was basically being a niggard, right? Being an asshole. It says, verse 10, "Who is this fellow David?" Nabal sneered to the young men. "Who does this son of Jesse think he is? There are lots of servants these days who run away from their masters. Should I take my bread and my water and my meat that I've slaughtered for my shearers and give it to a band of outlaws who come from who knows where?" So he was being a dickhead, right? So David's young men returned and told him what Nabal had said. "Get your swords," was David's reply, as he strapped on his own. Then 400 men started off with David, and 200 remained behind to guard their equipment. So now he's going to go and check this dude and put the fear of the Most High on him for being disrespectful, right? Meanwhile, one of Nabal's servants went to Abigail and told her, "David sent messengers from the wilderness to greet our master, but he screamed insults at them. These men have been very good to us, and we never suffered any harm from them. Nothing was stolen from us the whole time they were with us. In fact, day and night they were like a wall of protection to us and the sheep. You need to know this and figure out what to do, for there's going to be trouble for our master and his whole family." Basically, he's getting ready to come and deal with your husband and your whole family. He was giving her the the news, and you better believe, she got real nervous, right? He's so ill-tempered that no one can even talk to him. Abigail wasted no time. She quickly gathered 200 loaves of bread, 2 wineskins full of wine, 5 sheep that had been slaughtered, nearly a bushel of roasted grain, 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 fig cakes. She packed them on donkeys, so she did the whole hookup. Now, what she did right here was wise, all right, because King David, he was basically coming to kill, because he was that angry. But she knew right away, I got to do something about that. And let me see if I can find this precept. Let me see. Is it this one? Yeah, Proverbs 21:14. It says, "A gift in secret pacifieth anger, and a reward in the bosom strong wrath." All right. So she actually did that in a spirit, right? Ecclesiastes 10:4. If the spirit of the ruler rise up against thee, leave not thy place, for yielding pacifieth great offenses. Same thing Jacob had to do when he ran into Esau and his men, right? So this is what she did to try to, get ahead of what can potentially pop off if David was to get to her husband. So it says, and said to her servants, go on ahead, I will follow you shortly. But she didn't tell her husband the ball what she was doing. And she was basically trying to save his ass and their ass, the whole family. As she was riding her donkey into the mountain ravine, she saw David and his men coming toward her. David had just been saying a lot of good it did to help this fellow. We protected his flocks in the wilderness, and nothing he owned was lost or stolen. But he was repaid me evil for good. May the Most High strike me and kill me if even one man of this household is still alive tomorrow morning. And this is when she comes to intercede for him, right? So she's still doing a righteous deed, trying to save her husband from from getting his issue from David, right? So she's still tied to this man, even though he's a wicked dude, right? This is a righteous woman, but she's tied to a wicked man. When Abigail saw David, she quickly got off her donkey and bowed low before him. She fell at his feet and said, I accept all blame in this matter, my lord. Please listen to what I have to say. I know Nabal is a wicked and ill-tempered man. Please don't pay any attention to him. He is a fool, just as his name suggests. But I have never saw the young men you want. And she was more than likely, just reading into it. She knows this man's character. This dude was a lame. But knowing our culture and customs, she was probably married off to him. It was probably arranged. She didn't have any say so. She had to marry the man and be up under his authority, right? But back then, women didn't have any say so on marriage. So if you was married over to a man and he wasn't the best of a dude, he had ill character or whatever he was, you as a wife, you had to deal with it. Okay. It says, but I never saw the young men you sent. Now, my Lord, as surely as the Lord lives, and you yourself live, since the Lord has kept you from murdering and taking vengeance to your own hands, let all your enemies and those who try to harm you be as cursed as Nabal is. And here is a present that I, your servant, have brought to you and your young men. Please forgive me if I have offended you in any way. The Lord will surely reward you with a lasting dynasty, for you are fighting the Lord's battles, and you have not done wrong throughout your entire life. Even when you are chased by those who seek to kill you, your life is safe in the care of the Lord your God, secure in his treasure pouch. But the lives of your enemies will disappear like stones shot from a sling. When the Lord has done all he promised, and he has made your leader of Israel, don't let this be a blemish on your record. Then your conscience won't have to bear the staggering burden of needless bloodshed and vengeance. Because she's talking some sense to David right here. And when the Lord has done great things for you, please remember me, your servant. David replied to Abigail, praise the Lord Yahweh, the God of Israel, who has sent you to meet me today. Thank the Most High for your good sense. Bless you for keeping me from murder and from carrying out vengeance with my own hands. For I swear by the Lord, the God of Israel, who kept me from hurting you, that if you had not hurried out to meet me, not one of Nabal's men would still be alive tomorrow morning. Then David accepted her present and told her, return home in peace. I have heard what you said. We will not kill your husband. When Abigail arrived home, she found that Nabal was throwing a big party. Nigga like the party, like some Israelites we know, right? and was celebrating like a king. He was very drunk, so she didn't tell him anything about her meeting with David until the next day, until the dawn the next day, the next morning. In the morning when the boy was sober, his wife told him what had happened. As a result, he had a stroke and he lay paralyzed on his bed like a stone. About 10 days later, the Lord struck him and he died. So you see right there, the Lord pretty much freed, after this situation, the Lord basically freed Abigail. All right. He was done. The Lord took him out. So when that happened, that freed her from up under the law of being bound to her husband because he was no longer there. So that's why I said in the comment, you know, if this dude doesn't wake up, if he doesn't repent from his idolatry, because Islam, that's a whole nother God. He's serving a whole nother God. He's not serving the God of the Bible, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So if he doesn't wake up in due time, the Lord can, you know, put her husband to death. You know? And if that was to happen, then hey, that would be a sign to the sister. Now, that's not something that I'm, you know, gonna just flat out say like, you know, the Lord's gonna do it or that's what I'm hoping for. Nah. The Lord paired y'all together. You stick with that man, and you know, Lord's will. If it be His will be done. The best case scenario is he be converted and healed, and he leave behind that Islam crap and come to the knowledge of the truth. But if you continue to keep the faith and do your part as a believing woman in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and still you know, be peaceful and submissive to your husband, who knows what the Lord can work out, you know? The best case scenario, he eventually sees it. The other option is if the Lord, you know, has it out for that man because he didn't repent, something happens to him, you're free from that law, and you know that, and that's what it be. All right, but hopefully, you know, for your sake, for that sister's sake, the first option, the first scenario, you know, be the Lord's will if it be done. But you know, this is just to you know, give words of comfort to that particular sister. You know, if you are righteous and you happen to be with a man that's not a believer, that doesn't make you wicked. It's just part of the circumstance that you're in. Okay, and hey, this brother, he done lessons on all type of scenarios. Women that are in abusive marriages, you know, women that got dilemmas and stuff like that. His brother didn't address all type of stuff because sisters be coming on the comment section with all type of stuff. And hey, and it's gonna happen because even Paul said, when you marry, you didn't sin, but you're gonna have trouble in the flesh. It's gonna happen. All right. But you know, hoping for the best. And that goes for any sister in the faith that might be dealing with these kind of situations. But you continue to walk in a light. You know, you continue to do your part. All right. Stay with, you know, stay with him and continue in sobriety and charity. All right. Continue to maintain your belief. So anyway, you know, I hope this lesson was edifying. I'm going to give all honor, all praise, and all glory to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And until the next lesson, Shalom.